When should you mark a deal as won in your CRM? Seems straightforward, but actually isn't. Let's jump into it. Before we jump into it, this conversation is important for any CRM, but I am coming from it from the perspective as a Pipedrive user. So this conversation might be slightly different if you're using a different CRM. Also, in addition to that, it's important to understand the differences of stages versus statuses in Pipedrive. I think I had an old video about it, but just to explain it briefly, a stage is a specific step in the sales process that gets you closer to marking the deal as won, right? Which we'll talk about a little bit later. Whereas a status is whether the deal is purely open, lost, or won. This conversation seems unnecessary, but out of the hundreds of clients that my team and I have consulted, almost none of them have been able to answer the question without hesitation. And oftentimes we find that teammates within the same organizations were assuming different things about when a deal should be marked as won. Getting this right for your organization affects reporting, your sales team's follow through, and the quality of the handoff to fulfillment or operations in your company. The three main times that most of our clients decide to mark a deal as won is either when a contract is signed, when a deposit or initial payment is made, or when the salesperson finishes with the handoff or onboarding tasks. So here's what it looks like in practice. This is what a normal pipeline would look like. Maybe about 50% of our clients have a sales process that looks like this, where it goes from lead in to contact made to demo scheduled, demo complete, and then contract signed. The questions that you should be asking is, first and foremost, do we collect payments up front? If the answer is no, then you can just have the last stage just as it is here, contract sent. And when the contract is signed, either manually or through automation, you can mark the deal as won and you're done with it, right? That's it. On the other hand, if you do collect payments up front, then we go down kind of the workflow a little bit more and we ask ourselves, do we collect payments automatically upon contract signature? This might be an automatic payment request that doesn't allow the client to even sign until they make that deposit. For example, our software that we use it used to be called Anco, or like for example, PandaDoc, I know also does that. I'm sure there's tons of other apps that do that as well. Then if that's the case, then this still works with contract sent and then marking the deal as won whenever the contract is signed, because contract signing and payment happens at the same time. On the other end, if you have to send a manual invoice or you have to request ACH details and it's a bit of a back and forth, that's where you need to keep the deal open even after contract is sent and make sure that you follow up, or your invoicing team follows up with that invoice or with getting the ACH details. What that would look like here is that you'd have to expand your pipeline, where you probably would want to have a contract sign stage. You'd want to have the contract sign stage, and then when that contract is signed, you'd move the deal into that stage, and then you'd want to make sure that you have activity follow-ups to send the manual invoice or to request a deposit. That's what would happen in this stage. And then once that activity is marked as complete, or once that deposit is actually made, that's when you would mark the deal as won in your pipeline. The final option here is that we need to ask ourselves is, does the salesperson need to do any tasks related to handoff, to fulfillment or operations, or to onboarding the new client? Obviously, this depends on your business model, but a lot of times that we find is that the salesperson, after the contract is signed, is responsible for introducing them to the project managers, introducing them to the production and fulfillment side of your business to make sure that things keep on going smoothly and the client's not left up in the air. Or it could simply be that a manual message has to go out and say, hey, client, we're really happy that you signed with us. We really look forward to working with you. Here are the next steps that you could expect to have. In all those circumstances, the salesperson still has to do something to really close out that opportunity and mark it as won. If that's the case, whether you have a contract signed stage or a contract sent stage, you'd still keep the deal open in these stages here. And at this point, you'd probably have a few automated reminders to follow up with those tasks. It might be, schedule kickoff call. That's something that we have, for example, for the salesperson. The salesperson has to schedule the kickoff call with our project manager and the client, right? And then once that happens, once that kickoff call is completed, or the scheduling of it is completed, then you can mark that as done, and that could automatically mark the deal as won. There might be a whole bunch of other stuff, but that's just a very quick example to give you an understanding of how these conversations go. So that's a quick concept and a quick video today, but it's a very important conversation to make, and we'll make sure that your company has better sales follow through, better handoff, and better reporting details. If you have any questions about this topic or anything else, leave them down in the comments down below. Please remember to like the video and to subscribe so that we can provide you with even more valuable content moving forward. Thanks, and see you in the next one.